Wow, exactly how did it get to be Thursday again? This month is going so fast. My grandson is so excited. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Spirit World Sees All. And as usual, we have my spirit guide, Regal, who is standing to my right side, chuckling at me. And we have Chris facilitating beautifully. And also, of course, we have all of you. Wait a minute. Hold on. We have all of you. Chris. Is there anybody there, Chris?
Yeah, actually, they're loading up quick this morning.
Good. All right. And so we have all of you. I'm going to give it a few minutes because I know that some of you, you forget me or you suddenly realize, oh, wait, it's Thursday. Quick, load up. So I'm going to give you a few minutes to sort of give people time to get into the, whatever it is, this is, get into what are we calling it? The show. Because, obviously I don't want to say anything that is so important that people who are a little bit late are going to miss it. So what can I talk about in the meantime? Well, I can tell you that my flowers, my hibiscus and my exoria I've got two huge hedges now of hibiscus. I've already cut them down 1.5 feet, and now they're growing crazily, and but I'm not going to touch them because they're so filled with buds. The flower display has been amazing. I've had so beautiful pink and bright yellow with a dark center, and then these beautiful pink double ones. They're gorgeous in the hibiscus, and then the exoria are yellow and this orange. Some of the blooms are the exoria. I've never heard of them before I came to Florida, but exoria, they're like it's like a cluster of tiny little flowers which make a bit like a pom-pom, a huge pom-pom. Some of them are this big, and they're in yellows and oranges, and it's amazing when we see people go by and they're kind of staring and looking, and I'm thinking, yes, I want you to enjoy these flowers as well as I do. But when I look out of my window, all I see is flowers and flowers and flowers. And I feel finally, for the first time since I came to America, which is 26 or 27 years ago, I feel as if for the very first time ever, I have a real garden and I have real flowers, even though I'm limited to the kinds of flowers because it's Florida and we have to make sure that they are the right flowers for the climate. In England, we just grow anything and everything we want. And I do miss British gardens. But anyway, I'm content with what I have. I finally, after all of these years, found something that works and that really, really works well. Anyway, I think that's enough of gardening. Let me see. Oh, yes. I had a great, we had a great party. I'm going to describe the food that I made because I'm filling in the spaces, letting people join in, and then it's going to be your turn. So have your questions ready for me, please. All right. So for the party. Now, Chris has been going on at me for at least 3 to 5 years, maybe longer than that. Will you show me how to make choux pastry? We're spelling choux, C-H-O-U-X, French. It's French. Anyway, it's a special kind of pastry. And a lot of people find it very hard to make choux pastry. I'm not quite sure why, but anyway, I know that a lot of people are not particularly successful in making it. So I did something that I've never done before. So Chris came over one day. Not that she lifted a finger, just saying. She just stood there and watched, which I guess was the point. And I showed her how to make it, and I think she did make some notes. And I think I'll have to show her one more time, and maybe I'll make her do all the hard work next time. Not that it's really hard work at all, but anyway, so I made the choux pastry, I baked it, and I split it. You can actually find a video of me doing this if you'd like to. And then you can find another video, go to my cooking channel, I should say. And then there's another video of me filling them and making them look good and pouring chocolate over and all of that stuff. Anyway, so what I did was, and I wasn't quite sure if it was going to work, because usually in the past when I've made, I usually make chocolate eclairs. Some of you will know them as profiteroles, but anyway, I make nice big fat chocolate eclairs, and usually I make them and then we eat them. So I thought I wanted to make them before the party because I know I had a lot of stuff to do. So I baked them and I split them, and then I carefully put them in a bag and put them in the freezer. And I didn't know how well they would work in the freezer, but I thought, you know, better this than try to make them on the day of the party because I won't have the time. Well, they worked beautifully. The pastry froze beautifully. I filled them with cream and chocolate. You can see if you go to my, I think it's on the cooking channel. Anyway, if you go to my channel and just put in Rosemary Altea's chocolate eclairs, you should be able to find them. Oh my gosh, they were so, so good. And they brought back lots of memories. And so then on the day, I also made a pavlova, which is like an enormous bird's nest of meringue. And then I got lots of whipped cream and I sliced the strawberries. Actually, Chris sliced the strawberries for me. And then we fill the whole thing. So the nest was filled with strawberries and cream. And then, you know, I had a little chocolate left over. What am I going to do with leftover chocolate? So I decided I'd just pour it all over the top in sort of like strings and lines and crisscrosses. And so it looked good. I think you'll find a picture of that also. Anyway, unfortunately, I was unable to eat that because I can't eat strawberries. They're very, very bad for me. But I did take a little corner of the meringue. Now, there is a little story to this, just saying. I made long back ribs. If anybody wants the recipe, just ask me. They are the most delicious. They take a while to cook, but they're delicious. And I also made Moroccan rice, which my daughter insists I make when we go for Christmas because everybody would love it. And I know that I've made this stuff for years. I could do it blindfold, you know, but anyway, it's really, really good. And if you want the recipe for that, you can have it too. I mean, hey, come on, I'm happy to share. Anyway, there I was with my eclair, because I couldn't eat the pavlova. I had an eclair, and I was in the process of cutting it in half because I'm thinking I made these a little bit too big. I think I can only eat a half of one of these, although force me, I might have eaten it. And there I was chatting away to people and cut this thing in half. And I guess it did look a little bit of a mess on the plate, which is why some wonderful person who was helping to clear up and clean up and tidy up must have thought that I was finished, because when I turned back to eat it, it was gone. So I didn't get to eat any dessert. Anyway, the next day I made up for it because there was some eclairs left over. So I over the period of about 2 or 3 days, I ate 2 of them. Just little nibbles here and there, go to the fridge, open the door, take a little bite, then put it back, and then and so on. And I put another couple in the freezer. I've no idea if they'll freeze, but we'll see. Anyway, so that was our delicious dinner, and we had 2 birthday girls there, so that was nice. And what else? I think that was pretty much it. Although I did make a baked brie. I wrapped it in. I put my homemade marmalade on the top of the brie, like a wheel of brie. Put my homemade marmalade on the top, spread it out a little bit. Then I wrapped it in puff pastry. Then I baked it in the oven on high. And the cheese melts, and then as the pastry rises and the cheese melts and all of the cheese starts to run a little bit, and then all of the marmalade soaks into it. We did have that, plus I made some liver pate for an appetizer. Don't you wish you'd come for dinner? I really was happy with all of it. Chris, what about you? Did you enjoy the dinner?
Oh my God, I'm traveling back in time and I'm tasting the marmalade in the baked brie. That was so good.
It was good, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Anyway, so that was the party. Now I know that a lot of you had good food for Thanksgiving. So if you'd like to share a recipe or talk about the best thing you ate the whole time, if I had to choose the best thing that I ate for the party that we had, I'd have to say the ribs, because somebody stole my dessert and threw it away. Now, to be fair, it was a bit mashed up. It did look like I'd mashed it up on the plate, but I was just getting ready to just bite into it. You know how that is. Anyway, I didn't suffer. I did have 2 of them over the next 2 or 3 days. So anyway, all right, Chris, whoever's coming is hopefully coming and is hopefully there. So do we have any? Oh, and by the way, butterflies, which means the Apache believe, or the Native Americans believe, that the butterfly is the symbol of eternal happiness and joy. So look at me. They're all over me. Anyway, so eternal happiness, joy, and what could you wish for that's better than that? So Chris, now we've done cooking. That's it. Or I've done cooking anyway. Is there anybody there? And do we have any questions? And is anybody raring to go?
Well, Gary was raring to go. He was first one in to the chat room this morning.
Hi, Gary.
He says, "Good morning, Rosemary. I hope you all had a great or a nice Thanksgiving. Giving thanks with family is so important. At the same time, we should give thanks for the goodness of God."
Well, I like that. And especially coming from Gary. And I'm not going to talk about Gary or Gary's Thanksgiving. If he wants to say anything, he can. But we wish him lots of healing and lots of good thoughts, and keeping him in our prayers. Right, that's enough of that. Keep going, Chris.
Rhonda agrees with what Gary said and then said, "I hope everyone is warmer than in Colorado. We got a ton of snow."
Really? Oh my gosh, Colorado. I always think, I don't know why, because I know you have the mountains and so on, but Colorado is one of those places where you can, go into the mountains and ski in the morning, and then and then come back in the afternoon and go and play a round of golf in the sunshine. So that surprises me. Maybe you're up in the mountains I spoke to a friend of mine yesterday who actually lives in Colorado. He did not mention this the snow. That doesn't mean he doesn't have it where he is, but he didn't mention it to me. And here we are, right, Chris, in the warm, beautiful sunshine. My daughter called me this morning, as she calls me every morning. She takes Reese to school and then she calls me on the way home, and all she kept saying to me was, "It's freezing, it's freezing. I'm going to put you in my pocket." She puts her phone in her pocket. She uses her earphones and earbuds or whatever they're called. Anyway, and she said, "It's freezing, it's freezing, it's freezing." And I'm going to be going there very soon. And I'm not looking forward to the freezing weather, I can tell you that. Chris.
All right. Mark is on
Hi,
saying,
Mark.
good morning, beautiful souls. My calendar reminds me every Thursday to see and listen.
Oh, good. You've got one of those little alarms that goes off. That's good. I like that. Well, thank you, Mark, for that. Keep going.
Barb is happy to be here with all of us. Andrea, I guess, is also in Colorado. Says it's beautiful, but I really don't like the cold. I would love to be in Florida right now.
Well, one of the reasons that I left Vermont, there are two main reasons actually why I left Vermont. One is it's sort of winter 7 months of the year, and then about 5 months of the year. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Don't misunderstand me. It's a beautiful place. But you get 7 months of winter, and then you get 5 months of summer. And during the summer months, you get those nasty little black bugs that bite you all over. And then of course, there are the ticks. And in the end, I just couldn't, as beautiful as the place is, I just could not take the ticks any longer because they were everywhere. And at the time, I had 3 dogs, and so I would like to go. I would go for walks through the woods and up and down. Through the. I was lucky; I had a nice big property. We would be out for maybe 2 hours every morning, and then the same amount of time in the winter, in the afternoon, winter and summer. And I loved it. I was so skinny. Let me tell you, I was so skinny with all of that exercise. But at some point, I had to wear like a mesh suit and mesh pants and took boots in, because it didn't matter how you tried to protect yourself. When I would have to strip off on the porch before I went into the house. And it didn't matter how much you covered yourself or how much you tried. You'd find a tick. Somebody'd have to go and help you, or you'd find a tick somewhere or another. And it got to be just sort of not the place for me. Anyway, because I don't like creepy crawlies. And I think the day that I got a tick bite was the day that I said, "I'm enough. I'm done." But Florida's gorgeous. It's actually beautiful. We didn't have any touch wood. We didn't have any storms or any concerns or any worries this year. So it's been a great year. And as I'm saying, my flowers are blooming. Okay, Chris.
Speaking of flowers, Rhonda says she bought some bulbs from the Botanic Gardens to plant inside so that she has some color
Oh,
because
nice.
she misses her garden.
Nice, nice. I wonder what bulbs she bought. I think that the bulbs that I would buy, I love hyacinths. They have the most remarkable and beautiful scent. So you can buy these pots. I don't know if you know, and they've got holes in them. And you put the bulb in, and then you angle it so that the flower comes out of the hole. Or you just stick them in a pot or whatever. I actually, a couple of years ago, I actually had a big glass tray with a lip, and I stood the bulbs in water, and they rooted, and then amazingly, they flowered. And so that was a really neat way to do it. But the hyacinths are beautiful, of course, daffodils, anything like that. My Christmas and, wait a minute, Thanksgiving and Christmas cactuses are blooming I've been working on my orchids. My daughter said to me the other day, okay, Mom, as people get older, you know, you can get an older lady who loves cats, and they're known as the cat lady or the cat woman. She says, I'm going to call you the orchid woman, because you're getting older, and the older you get, the more you're tending to your orchids. But I found this amazing way of actually, if you could see my orchids now, they've got all these little tiny buds all over them, and I know that they're starting to stem out, and I'm excited about it anyway. And for people who have orchids and you don't know how to keep the leaves shiny, here's a weird little tip for anybody who cares at all about orchids, right? I found this little tip on YouTube, and I thought, well, I'm going to try it and see. So what you do is you dab a tiny little bit of mayonnaise. I know. You dab a tiny little bit of mayo. You dab it over the leaf, not too much. You don't want to soak it in it. And then you get a cotton pad and you just wipe it over. Do not do the underside of the leaf, because the underside of the leaf is where the thing breathes and what have you. But it creates this beautiful, shiny, glossy, that it doesn't smell. They don't go off, and the leaves absorb it, but still remain shiny. And apparently, it's really good and really healthy for the leaves, as I can testify. And Chris, you saw my orchids yesterday. What did they look like?
They're gorgeous,
Yeah,
beautiful.
really, 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 really great. Anyway, all right, enough. So so here's what we've done now, right? We've had gardening tips, we've had cooking tips, and whatever else we've had. But anyway, keep going.
All right. Well, here we're getting into some of the questions.
Okay, go for it.
So Penny says, missing my dad and parent-in-law. I am hoping that Gray Eagle could share the special message my mom-in-law left me with before leaving the hospital. Happy holidays to you and Chris. I'm looking forward to learning with your monthly program. Thank you and hugs.
Okay, I'm not quite sure what she means by sharing the messages, but I'm so pleased that you've got such a great and such a positive attitude, and I'm looking forward to joining with us. Let me just be clear, though, because we have had some questions from people, and one particular question. I think you were going to ask that question, right, Chris? And
Yeah, in the email, Tone asked, will there be any mediumship teachings also?
no, okay. This is what this is about. It's not about, well, it's about me explaining, talking about different things, talking about different the different ways of mediumship, talking about the different ways of the spirit world and how that works, talking about energy, talking about lots of things. So you will be learning, because I'll be trying, if I can, the best way that I can, Grey Eagle and I, because Grey Eagle is very, very much an integral part of this, as he always is anyway. But what it is it's sort of like, it is an education program in that we're taking certain subjects each month, and we give you, let's say, 3 tutorials, first week, second week, third week. And then on the fourth week, we have, the ability for you to join in with us live on a live, whether we use Zoom or whatever we use, but you get the opportunity to ask questions, or voice opinions, or whatever it is you'd like to do, on the particular subject that we're talking about in that month. I will not be teaching individually. These are group sessions. I have never let me be clear now. I have never taught mediumship to anyone because my own personal belief is that it is not teachable. You have it or you don't have it. If you have it, then of course it's what do you do with it, and how do you use it? And you do need people who know about those things to help you to develop that ability. But mediumship is, first of all, good mediumship is very rare, and it's the responsibility for mediumship, the responsibility for any of the things that we do, whether it doesn't matter where you are. If you let's go to a hospital, the responsibility of the doctor, the nurses, the responsibility of the carers, of the chiropractors, of the teachers is huge. It is huge. So because of that responsibility, I'm not willing, and I've never ever taught anyone, let's say, how to become a medium, because I just think it's something that's very, very rare. However, I have taught people, and during these sessions, we will teach people how to raise their level of consciousness, and to know how important those things are and how to do them and so on. And if you want to go to my YouTube channel, you can find a lot of those tutorials in how to raise your level of consciousness, how to become more aware, how to become more aware of your own soul, how to become more aware of the people around you in the spirit world, etc., and etc. But this course is about going much, much deeper into how these things work, and we're going to be relying very much on Grey Eagle and his teachings to explain to us how things work, and the things that we need to pay attention to, the things that we should watch out for, so on and so forth. So it is not, if anybody is thinking that I'm going to be teaching one-on-one, or that we have 12 people, I'm going to be teaching each of you one-on-one, that is not what we're going to be doing here. However, what we're going to be doing is teaching you and explaining to you how this all works, and what we should look out for, and how we could make the most of these things. We're going to be dispelling lots of myths about how this whole thing works. And we're going to be giving insights into things that perhaps we never even thought of, or perhaps we never even considered that we could do, or that we might want to try, in order to make ourselves more, and in order to help our soul to grow. So, Chris, do you have anything to add to that I've missed there in what we're going to be trying to do here?
Well, I think the important part is, sort of the maintenance of it. So if people get in by December 15th, they're going to get in the founding rate, which is $19.99 a month. Anytime after that, it's going to be $39.99 a month. So you want to get in now. And once a month, we'll give you the schedule for that month. Every week, you're going to get a lesson or a video or the Zoom link for everybody to join together. And I've seen the content, the initial content, and trust me, it's going to blow you away. That's all I can say.
Well, we're hoping it's going to inspire you, is really what we're hoping for. And listening to Grey Eagle and hearing his wisdom in this way, because you really do understand that he is there, and that his is the voice that we listen to, and his is the voice of an entity that he has so much wisdom and so much knowledge and so much understanding of these things. And anybody who is interested in that side of things, well, you know, I mean, why wouldn't you be? So it's going to be, I think it's going to be an interesting course that we're doing here. And as Chris says, we're hoping to start this sort of sometime January, in the new year anyway. We're not quite sure of the date yet because we have more content to do and we want to continue with the content. We don't want to be stopping and starting and pausing and so on. But we have already been working on this. So, you know, sort of sometime in the new year, we'll let you know when we are beginning proper, you know, a proper beginning. So, so bear with us and be patient with us. You know, unfortunately, because I was sick in the summer and then, you know, all of that stuff, it's been put back a little bit, but we are definitely continuing to do it, and we don't give up on us. We're definitely continuing to do it, and we're definitely looking forward to having you all, especially I'm really looking forward to the, you know, sort of the fourth week when we all get together and you can make comments, you can ask questions, you can, you know, you can sort of be involved in that way. And, you know, I'm looking forward to having that real sort of connection with you all, sort of, if you like, one-on-one through the through Zoom, and we've done something similar to this before, and it works really well. Speaking of Grey Eagle and his wisdom, don't forget on the 13th of December we are having our Grey Eagle Speaks. It's a once yearly. I can't guarantee we'll do it next year, but it's a once yearly event where Grey Eagle actually speaks to us. You will see that I will go into, I won't say a trance state, I'll say more of a semi-trance state. Grey Eagle will then use my voice, use my body, use everything about me, and he will be speaking. You will have opportunity at this point to ask him questions. Now, last year we had an unexpected visitor. I think I've told many of you this, because we had Jesus standing here participating in the whole thing, and in fact answering some questions also, which kind of blew me away, really, because I wasn't actually expecting it. Last week I had an amazing consult with a lovely lady who, very much like me, or was it this week, very much like me, is, you know, a bit of a Jesus fan. Now, 2/3 of the world have never heard of Jesus Christ, or if they have, not as anything important to them. But each religion, I hate the word religion because it means something different to everybody, but each faith, each belief, whether it's Muslim or whether it's Buddhist or whether it's whatever, each faith has its own beliefs, has its own teachers. So, you know, Christ is just one of those many teachers, one of those many teachers who stand out for us because they have been in their lives so inspiring and then are able to continue to inspire us. So whether or not you have faith in Jesus Christ, as I do, but if you're a Muslim or a Buddhist or it don't matter what you are, you're going to, I think, really find it fascinating. I can't promise you that Jesus is going to come this time, or who knows. I have no clue. I've no clue what we're going to be doing, to be honest with you. I just sit here and say, okay then. And I hand it over to Grey Eagle, who usually does a pretty wow job. Anyway, so that is on the 13th of December, which is less than 2 weeks away now, I think. Oh, golly. Anyway, and so we're going to be doing that, and we're really looking forward to doing something that is so special for all of us. And it's kind of like, I always feel as if it's a Christmas gift to me, because I probably am the one who gets the most out of all of this. But anyway, if you want to know more about any or all of whatever we're going to be doing, then all you have to do is email the office, Rosemary at rosemaryaLtea.com, put in the subject line whatever it is you want or not, or just write. Chris will answer your emails, and you can go through. It's very simple. You just go from there. So, Chris, I think is that all the housekeeping? Oh, wait, no, I've forgotten. Oh my gosh, how could I have forgotten? Today's a very busy day for me because we have the show. Then I have some stuff to do this afternoon, which I'm really, really looking forward to doing. And then this evening, I think it begins at 7, we're going to have a healing session. Now, we'll have the chat rooms open. So I'm going to talk to you about healing, and I'm sort of looking forward to lots of questions from all of you, because I know that so many of you are interested in healing, and how does it work and what we do, and can I give healing to myself, and how can I give healing to others, and I don't know if I'm a healer or not, and all of these questions that people have. So at 7 o'clock tonight, we're going to be talking about healing. I'm going to be, if you want to go on YouTube, go to my YouTube channel, you'll see how there are quite a few tutorials there. I don't know quite what to call them, but anyway, there are quite a few explanations on there of how you can use healing, what you need to do, how you need to center yourself, etc., etc. So we're going to be talking about healing perhaps in a little bit more of a deeper way, and to find a little bit more understanding of what healing actually means. What, okay, I'm giving you healing. Well, what does that mean? So we're going to be talking about what it means to give healing either to yourself or to give healing to others. And of course, again, I'll say you're going to have lots of opportunity to answer the questions in the chat room. So that's at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I think. That's my time. That's New York time. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 p.m. in England. I know it's late, guys, but it's worth staying up for, I promise you. Afterwards, you'll sleep like a baby. So anyway, if you want to join, you don't have to apply. You just tune in or email for the link or whatever it is you have to do. Chris will explain all of that to you. But email Rosemary at rosemaryaLtea.com and say, how do I join the session tonight? And I think Chris will just send you a link and you can get into the link. And I think it's as simple as that. Chris?
Yeah, the same place they logged in here today for your show, through YouTube or Facebook, wherever they normally hop on. It's already set up, so you just click on that link when we go live.
See? Interesting. That all you have to do is click. Press the button.
Hey, interesting when you were talking about Jesus, Mark had written in early in the show, does Grey Eagle ever have conversations with Jesus? Also, when Jesus appeared to you not long ago, did he know or see those of us who were present as you had your vision of him? I was truly gobsmacked.
I love that. Such an English phrase, gobsmacked. Okay, I want to be clear now. Okay, this might sound a bit weird, but I guess you could say that I have visions, but I actually don't really. Okay, when I see Jesus, it's because he's standing in my living room and usually standing right next to me. He's not a vision. I see him as, very real, very present. It's not something I see in my mind. It's not something out, it's not something within me. When I see Grey Eagle, he is, right by my side. I'm not seeing him as a vision. He is uh, let's call him a person, an entity, albeit in his etheric, or the etheric body known as it's the spirit body, same shape and same size as our own, but this body, this spiritual body, this spirit body, which is known as the etheric body, is what we use to travel and to be transported, what our soul uses to transport us. So when I see Jesus, I'm seeing him in his etheric body. And let me be clear, we tend to think of the spirit body as like some wispy sort of something or another. It is more solid, more real, more everything than the human body could ever possibly be, and is also indestructible. So what were the questions? Okay, when Grey Eagle is here with us as he is today, when Jesus is here with us, I saw him this week. He unexpectedly, when I was having a consultation with this beautiful, lovely woman, I was really quite shocked. I didn't expect him to be there. But he was there, although he was in my living room and I saw him, and of course he's there for me, but he was mostly there for her, to encourage her, and he gave her messages and a lot of wisdom, and it was amazing. So can they see all of you? I'm sure that every one of you who joins have someone in the spirit world who is close to you or connected to you and so on, who is watching you and watching over you. And I know that there are many entities, many connections, many entities connected to Jesus, many connections connected to Grey Eagle, who will see you. And if you ask a question of them, their focus will be on you, or answering the question for you specifically, even though, sort of, I can't quite explain how we do it. That's for the subscription program. We might explain more of that, but there's not time to explain it today. But let me be clear, okay? I do not have visions, which might confuse you, all of you. When people come to me from the spirit world, I don't see them as a vision. They are people. They come to me. I see them. They step into my living room. They step into my space. They step into we connect on that vibrational level. And I see them in their etheric body, but I see them as people, just as I might see anyone else. When I look at Jesus Christ, he's a person standing in my living room, solid and real, and not a vision at all. I don't, visions give, the word vision perhaps gives a wrong impression. It gives an idea that I'm sort of seeing somewhere in my head, or I'm seeing beyond, but it's something that's going on in my head, which is absolutely not the case at all. I know, I'm weird. What can I tell you? I'm such a weird person, but it works for me and it's great. Chris.
Penny says people who are talented, like you say, famous musicians, does the talent come from a higher power? Can you see these spirits on TV or on stage as the talented person performs?
Okay, I'm going to use my grandson as a as an example because Reese has been called, a prodigy. He plays the piano unbelievably. One year when he was doing doing an audition to play at Carnegie Hall, the judge was astounded, and he was playing a Beethoven piece, and the judge actually said to my daughter afterwards, it was like I had Beethoven in the room with us. It was as if Beethoven was sitting with Reese, or even had somehow entered Reese, that energy, because he said it was just so beautiful and so perfect. Um, when I am watching Reese, of course, I'm seeing my father there, Grey Eagle is there. My father is particularly fond of my daughter and my grandson and takes a very special interest in them. But I also believe that there is something, that each of us is born with a gift. We often we don't even know it, we don't realize it, we don't explore it. A lot of people don't understand, that they have a gift. I was the lady I was talking to this week. I actually was talking to her about the power that she had within her, and she was shaking her head, saying, "No, no, 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 not that, not me, not me." Um, so I had to explain to her, look, if Gregor tells me you've got power within you, you have power within you. And I think we all do have some kind of power or some kind of energy that helps us either to become more understanding or more empathetic or just more of who we can be. So I think we're all born with some special gift, but so many of us are discouraged, perhaps by our parents, by our school, by our peers, to not even begin to explore that. And those of us who do want to explore that, and those of us who are curious and who do want to know more, will often find somewhere within them that gift that was given to them, and but they've never known it or explored it before. I would say that my grandson, like many musicians, like many talented people, I would say that they have something within them that helps them to become more, let's say, more sensitive. They are able to have or to connect with a vibrational level that is, unusual and different and helps them. So, the way that I work, I'm able to connect on that vibrational level that helps me to see people in the spirit world as they really are within their etheric body, solid and real and clear. So, it's not a question of sort of seeing with my mind's eye. You'll never ever, if you ever see me working, you'll never ever see me say, I feel, I feel, I sense, no, if I can't see it, if they don't come into my living room and stand and have a conversation with me, then I can't trust anything. So I guess sometimes I'm a bit of a bully and I push people and they'll say to me, "Can you see me now?" And I say, "No, actually, it's a bit like that phone advert. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?" Well, people in the spirit world will often, when they come through to talk to me, "Can you see me now?" No, I can't actually. We've got to connect on that proper, clear vibrational level. So we try, and we usually are successful, and we try to do that very, very clearly so that I am not just imagining having a conversation or visualizing having a conversation. I am actually having a conversation with those people from the spirit world who come into my living room, and they all know they're welcome, and we literally have conversations back and forth and back and forth. And if I say something that I think they've told me and I've got it wrong, they'll say, no, that's not what I said, Rosemary. No, you got to do it this way or this way. So it's very clear to understand the difference. I think it's very important to understand the difference between what is a vision or some idea of a visionary thing going on, and what I would call the real thing. Chris.
Judith says, Rosemary, I've been dreaming almost nightly of my mother and sister who have passed.
Ooh,
I feel so close to them, and it is wonderful seeing and visiting with them. Are
nice.
they causing this wonderful meeting, or is it just me missing them?
No, I think that there are two things that are happening here. I think you become more, for whatever reason, in whatever way, you become more open and you become more aware, and therefore you have, without perhaps even realizing it, raised your level of consciousness, which means that your conscious connects the energy of your conscious and subconscious mind. You're connecting with their vibrational level, which means that you can get together clearer. It means that you can see each other clearer. It means that you can feel each other more and more so. So getting on the right vibrational level is important. And it's probably, you know, a lot of people will find that it's easier to do that. It's easier to find that vibrational level and to connect with loved ones in the spirit world in that sort of that half awake, half asleep state. And the reason for that is that, you know, when you're in that half awake, half asleep state, you're sensible, you know, that the mind that says, oh, that can't really be happening, is dormant. It's because you're not thinking of what can't happen. You're allowing yourself to be a part of this vibrational level where you can connect. So I think it's because you are becoming more open and more aware and adjusting more to the idea that, you know, no, they really are real. It's not your imagination and it isn't a dream. They come to you in your, let's say, your dream state, because that's where the vibrations are the strongest.
Gary mentioned in the chat room that prayers are needed for my 96-year-old mother. She is getting close to the end of her human experience here.
Oh, I'm glad, Gary, that thank you for mentioning. I didn't want to mention it, but I'm, you know, Gary has been struggling. He's been taking care of his. He won't want me to say this to you because he's very, you know, doesn't like to blow his own trumpet, but he's been taking care of his mother, oh, forever actually, and she is phenomenal. And I know her. She's phenomenal. She's so sharp. She's so, you know, clear-minded. But you know, on Thanksgiving, she had a little bit of a fall. Thank goodness she didn't break anything. She didn't hurt herself too much. But still, Gary thought it was sensible to take her to the hospital, and she got checked over, and they couldn't believe for 96 years old, you know, that she was up and running before you knew it. So she just had to have her meds adjusted a little bit, but she's 96, going on for 97. And so she's really, you know, she's unbelievable. She's just unbelievable. But she is sleeping more and more, and Gary's spending more and more time with her, if that's possible. Luckily, they live very, very close to each other, within a few footsteps, actually. So if you could, I did ask earlier if you could send prayers for him, because the carer, that's the one that gets worn out. That's the patient usually is so busy being, a patient, and she's also sleeping a lot, which is good. But the carer is the one that we need to pay attention to. So if you could send prayers, as Gary's asked, for his mom, who is gorgeous and lovely, but also if you could send, he won't thank me for asking you this, but if you could send prayers for Gary too, because as much as we try to be strong, and as much as we know when the inevitable is coming, we know. I mean, she's 96 years old. She can't. Maybe she'll outlive us all. Who knows? Maybe in 5 years' time we'll be gone and she'll be still there. But I think, as Gary says, yes, she's sort of coming to the end gently and slowly, and she is pretty much his only family, aside from a great cousin. And if the cousin's listening, thank you to him. Anyway, but we want to send healing remember to send healing to the carers as well as to the patient. Chris.
You're right at time, Rosemary, but there are a couple of comments.
Well, let's go.
Mark said, thank you for clarifying Jesus and Gray Eagle in the way we see one another. You are not and won't ever be a weird person, Rosemary.
I am.
God has blessed you with an amazing gift and knows you use this gift for the betterment of all the living.
Yes, but I think here's the thing. Okay. People for years and years thought I was crazy. And, but, of course I'm not crazy, not totally crazy. Everybody thought my grandmother was crazy, and she ended up in a psychiatric hospital. It was called an asylum in those days, or the loony bin, or whatever you called it. And my grandmother was a regular patient in there because she used to hear voices. So when we talk about being weird or being crazy, I don't mean to that extent, but I always feel that a little bit of crazy or a little bit of weird just makes it more interesting, don't you think? So thank you for that. But yeah, I hold my hand up. I'm a little odd.
Darcy wants to know, can you let me know if my court case will come to a positive resolution?
Not entirely, but I think you'll be smiling. So in other words, I don't think you'll get everything you want, but you will be smiling. That's all I can tell you. Chris, let's do a couple more.
Judith, who prompts this every couple of months, she's so funny. When is Rosemary's new book coming out?
Oh, whenever I get around to it. I've been sick. I had weeks and weeks and weeks during the summer when I really thought that I was going to get down to writing this book and sorting this out. And of course, found myself not being able to breathe. By the way, I'm doing great right now. So, thanks to everybody for their healing prayers, but I'm good. Anything else, Chris?
Mark was asking about, do you decorate for Christmas?
Oh, I do not decorate here in Florida for Christmas because, why? Because I put one or two little things out, but I'm actually looking for, anybody knows where I could get one from. I'm going to, very weirdly, I'm looking for some kind of maybe a wrought iron tree or wrought iron stand with lots of branches, not a proper tree, I don't mean, because I do have some beautiful ornaments which my daughter doesn't want. And every time I think about it, I looked at them the other day, I'm thinking I've still not got a stand for these things. And but they are all crystal, they're Italian and they're beautiful, and I want to put them somewhere where the sun hits them, so that I can not just have them for Christmas, but I can have them for all of the year, which would be great. I have so many Christmas and not Easter, yeah, probably Easter, but Thanksgiving and Christmas cactuses that are just starting to bloom, whites and pinks and really pretty. So I guess we could call that some sort of decoration. But when I go to New York, we will have the tree, and we will have the village, and the elf is already on the shelf. And my grandson is 12 years old, but he still loves to do all of these things. So, so I will be in a place where there's going to be lots of fun, decoration, joy, and all of the rest of all of the rest of it. So, so I think it's important. And of course, when I get to New York, I'm sending my Christmas cake on before me, and I'm going to put it in the mail next week. And those of you who want to join me can join me when I get together with my grandson, because we always have a Christmas decorating sort of a party. And my cake this year looks, oh gosh, it smells so good. Anyway, anything else, Chris, before we end today?
Carolyn says, bless you, Rosemary, for just being you.
Oh, thank you, darling. That's so nice of you. All right, that's it, I think. So I'm going to be busy all afternoon. So for those of you who are joining me at 7 o'clock for our healing session, take pity on me. I shall be so exhausted. Not really. I love my work. We're going to be talking about healing. You'll have a chance to ask questions as we do here. But I think there's so many of us who really need healing right now for one reason or another. And we can talk about the world and how do we give healing to this world of ours, to this planet of ours. So that's a question you might want to ask me, and I do have the answer to that too. So if you'd like to join me at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight, I shall be here. And other than that, don't forget the 13th, if you want to join, you do have to buy a ticket for our Grey Eagle Speaks. If I don't see you before, hopefully I shall see you next Thursday for another show. Until then, in the meantime, I'd like all of you to understand how much I appreciate that you join with me every week. I'd like to say thank you, of course, to Great Eagle, who is always with us and helping. I'd like to say thanks to Chris for her great facilitating. And I would like to say, and I do have an update on Mary Lou, who's doing brilliantly. She's finished her chemo, and she just has a couple of rounds of radiation, and she's she's been given the all clear. Yay! So we're very excited about that, and we'll soon be able to go out for ribs, maybe after Christmas now, but then anyway. But for those of you who've been sending healing to her, I very much appreciate it, as does she. And to all of you who receive healing, please understand you're always in my prayers. So until I see you again, if not before, perhaps next Thursday morning, where we will be doing this again. Christmas is coming. And we're going to be talking about Christmas. We're going to talk about, you know, what we do for Christmas. And I like to create my own tradition, and I can be talking to you about what I have done that I don't know that anybody else does this, but maybe I'm wrong. But I created a tradition for us. And I think it's important, especially if you've got children or grandchildren, to have something that you do that you created for them that they can take on to their next generation and the next generation after that. In the meantime, please, everybody, have a very, very blessed rest of the day. Have a very blessed weekend, everybody. And I think that's it. Please enjoy your weekend. Remember, joy, happiness, butterflies are the symbol of eternal happiness and joy. So please think of that throughout the coming days, that butterflies, even if we don't see them, they're all around us.